Hi everyone, welcome to Starlight Activation. I am Anthony and welcome to my story. The last episode we had filmed, we had just discovered that I was able to go up to a tree and read the tree's energy source, the pulse, the life essence, the life flow, the light, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure if it has a very specific name. I've done a little research about it. I don't like to do a whole lot of research. I like to just go with my instincts a lot of times. And so that's what I've been doing. And after the after that first night and then the second night when I tested it again and I could still feel the energy, I realized that I had been grounded the first night rather strongly. And I think it's a grounding exercise for me. But it's also something that just came very natural to call them my tree family now. So I have been gone on like for 10 days on a trip. And nothing really stood out as anything happening. But when I got back, well, a couple of days before I got back, for some reason, I don't know, something weird just kind of took over my personality and my aura. I was like getting really pissed off at the divine and my guides, and I was like, I said many times in the channel messages that were coming through, there are all these accolades about your ancestors. You've come further than your ancestors ever did, and they're so proud of you, and blah blah blah. And all it was just continuous commentary on all these things coming forward, and they're so happy you've done this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well then bring some of this stuff forward. Bring some of the stuff that I have manifested into my life now. I'm ready now. I see what I want now. This is what I want. So let's move on it. And so I was trying to push the narrative and push the timeline, and it just doesn't work when you do that. You guys know that. So after a couple 2 or 3 days of me just, I don't know, my anger was just really kind of increasing. And I was literally taking a bath every single night with my HZ music, trying to calm myself down, trying to get back to more of my essence. And I just literally, I could not do it. I just could not get there, and I was just getting like more and more angry. And then all of a sudden I just thought, okay, we had to come to Jesus meeting, which is what I called it. And I called out ancestors. I was like, quit talking about this glorious divine feminine out there that's going to receive all these accolades. I said, let's either do it or let's quit talking about it. I said, because we've had this same narrative. I've been listening to this exact same narrative for 10 months now, and I am wary of the narrative. I am ready to move forward. If anyone thinks that my ex is going to be allowed to come back into my life, you are, you know what? You are full of, yes. And I'm like, no, there's going to be a divorce. I see my future. I know what I want. And then I was getting really irritated because I kept getting these third eye visions. And if you guys have watched the video about when my Jeep Commander broke down in Longview, Texas, I believe I met my kingdom spouse that moment. He was at a business there, and I had a moment where he came out to check on me because I had broke down during the night, and I spent the night in the parking lot in my Jeep, and it was like 20 degrees weather, and I was fine. I had blankets, pillows, everything. And when he came out to check on me, I read his energy, and I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that he's my kingdom spouse. I knew it. He's my past life connection kingdom spouse. And it's just been, there's been no question in my mind that he's it. So I keep getting these messages where not visions, but visions where he's coming through, but also like scenes, a lot of scenes where we're together, and it's always innocent and playful and very loving. But it's also very annoying. If you guys have remembered any of the videos that I talked about Robert, that was the false narrative. That was the test. How I kept getting vision after vision after vision until I read his energy, because he's a real person that I was being sent to. I knew his energy could not be a kingdom spouse, a past life connection, and I blocked him immediately. And then we find out later, oh yeah, that was a test and you passed it. Okay, that kind of stuff just does not set well with me. I mean, quit testing me. I don't need to be tested anymore. To me, I think that's unfair. If I have cleared a 400-year karmic curse on a family that I have been brought into for that purpose, and I did it, then allow me the clout to be the emperor, empress entity that I am, intuitive, empathic, I'm supposed to be a healer, then let me do my job and get out of the way. That's the anger level I was at that point. So every time I was getting a message or a vision or a third eye vision of me and this individual in Longview, Texas, it was always something very, like I said, playful. It was like, I would get a snippet. It was like you're watching a little movie clip, like a preview. It was like a little preview of, this is an interaction you're going to see happen. A little preview again, another one, another, and they were just constantly, and I just yelled out one day, quit it. I'm sick and tired of this. I don't know if he's real. I don't know if he is the one, because I was just so angry. And because I was just tired of being, what I felt like I was being played with. And I really lashed out at Michael. I said, because Michael came and visited me, and you guys watch that video because it is amazing. So we're talking about Archangel Michael. But he said not a word. I read his energy and I knew what his message was, but he could have said, oh, by the way, that is your kingdom spouse coming forward. But no, he was tight-lipped, didn't say a word. And so it was just a combination of everything. And so I just had like 3 sessions of prayer meditation where I just went on and on and on and on. The last one being when I arrived back in town and went to my favorite park that I always go to in the evening. Now, that last prayer meditation, I did not try to touch a tree at all. I was just there to be mad. And I think I just exploded enough to where when I got back home, there was a channeled message about, and it was with Secret Shaman Oracle, and it literally came out and said, you're pissed with the divine. You're so mad that nothing is happening and you don't see that the work going on behind the timeline. And that calmed me down completely. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's exactly what's going on. I was that pissed. So I did a couple of really quick prayers asking for forgiveness for blowing up at everyone. And so the very next day, though, this was yesterday, I got this urge. It's the weekend. And I thought, I'm going to go to my park, but I'm going to go to the daytime this time because I've been encouraged to be going out to the park during the daytime. So I thought, okay, I'll go in daytime. And it was a Sunday. And the park was having nothing but soccer games going on. So it was, number one, impossible to find a parking space. I had to drive around and around to get a parking space. And then when I got a parking space, it was really tough for me to find a spot where I wasn't going to be watched, because I don't want someone thinking I'm this weirdo that's out there hugging trees, because literally that's what it looks like. And then I'm talking to them, and someone's going to call Adult Protective Services or something and say someone's off his medication. Because that's what I would think. I would think, oh, there is some weird dude out there hugging trees. Okay, what is this? So I was looking for a section where there were some trees. And I was talking. Of course, I go in and introduce myself like I always do. This is a really, really large park. It has several sections. And normally I go to one section, but I couldn't find a parking space, so I went to another section. So I'm walking area. I'm still familiar with it. I still forage for the hobbies, for the aquascaping and the terrariums there. So I know where everything is. And as I'm walking through, I get a glimpse and I start talking to one particular tree. And I said, please, if you'll let me lay hands on you. And I did, and I could not feel anything. I was like, okay, no, I'm sorry, I don't feel anything. And so I moved over a few feet to another tree, and I said out loud, I really would like to find a tree that has a smooth bark. I said, I think you guys are all pretty much the same tree here. Because I couldn't find anything that was a smooth bark that was anything other than like a small bush. And I knew I wasn't going to get any reading out of a bush. And so I put my hands on another tree, and then I could feel the pulse. It was light. The tree is small. I mean, small. Basically maybe this big round trunk that I was holding on to. But I felt it. And I was like, okay, this is encouraging. So I move out of that area, and I go through some underbrush, and I come out to this meadow area where there's picnic tables. And it's absolutely glorious. It's a beautiful day. Sunny. There's a wind. The temperature is amazing. And I am drawn to this one particular spot. I mean, I zero in on it. Oh, I'm walking to those trees over there. So it's completely across the other side of this park. And at first I had my eye on, oh my God, the beautiful tree I wanted to touch. I was like, oh, but it's dead. Okay, so it was dead. I was like, okay, well, there's no sense going to that tree because it won't have an energy source because it's dead. So I focused on the ones that what I had seen first. So let me just go back to my original intent, which was right here. And from the distance, it looks like it's possibly one big tree. But when you got up close to it, there was literally massive trunks, a double trunk tree, two of them, and they were about 2 feet apart. So it looked like, from the distance, it looked like it was one massive, massive tree that had like 4 trunks or 5 trunks. No, it was really actually 2 trees that had 2 trunks in them. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. And then it had a third that was a few feet away from it that was still in this little triangle. And I thought back to the first time I felt the energy, the very first time. It was a single tree, a split trunk, and a trident. And I thought it was a 1, 2, 3. This is a 1, 2, 2. Okay, this might be significant. Let me try. So I go up and I'm talking to the trees. And as soon as I lay my hands on one tree, and I could feel the pulse really heavy in my left hand versus my right hand of the split trunk tree. And I said, well, let me try this. So I took one hand on one tree and one on the opposite tree. Oh my God, that was the rush moment, because it was really coming through at that point. And so I bowed my head and I started praying, and I just felt everything being released. Everything being released. I actually even said, I can tell that you're pulling away, because I had tried the night before to rid myself of all the anger that I was feeling by pulling out those layers, pulling out those things I was afraid of, that I was pushing for, or the changes I wanted to make happen. I just pulled all that layer out and I gave it back to the universe with light and love. And then I have my light follow it and transmute that energy from dark to light. And so when I was talking to the trees, I could just really feel their energy surging into me. And I can actually still feel my feet tingle, because you can feel it in your sometimes you can feel it for me in my feet as well. And so then I knew I was being grounded, and then I was being made whole again. And so I stood there and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I just got this idea. You know what? I'm going to do my prayer. I'm going to do a prayer manifestation right here. I'm going to do a prayer session. So I am sitting between, oh, that's delivering. I'm sitting between both trees, and I've got my hands around both trees. And I thought, and I'm looking up, and the sun is so beautiful above me. I was like, no, hang on. I'm going to lay down. So I laid down between the 2 trees, and then just put my hands like this on on one of the 2 trunks of each one of the trees, because they were both right there together. So I was in between the trees, and I had my hand on the outer trunk of each one of them and just started going into a prayer session with my guides. And it was absolutely beautiful. It was magical. I could talk openly about how my tree family was healing me, and that this understanding I have that ever since I was a very, very small child, I've been so attached to Mother Earth, and this needs to be part of my job going forward. I hope that this is a component of it. I don't know what this new job coming forward is, but I want it to have something to do with Mother Earth and my spirituality. I just don't know what it is yet. And I was doing this whole analogy about how my whole life leading up to right now with my aquascaping channel, how I'm honoring Mother Earth. I'm creating in Earth's image, in Mother Earth's image, with the divine in my own little tanks that I build. And so it was just absolutely glorious. So I felt amazing once I left there. And I actually took a photo of my view, a view of the trees and of the view that I had. So look on to the post section if you want to see. I posted it in the post section so you can see what I was talking about. You can see the trees and where I was. So fast forward, now it's at night, and I decide, okay, I'm still going to go out again because it was a beautiful night. The moon was really bright, so I went to my regular park that I always go to, where I have the rotunda, and I park in the rotunda, and I just walk around in a circle. And I did not feel the need to touch any of the trees. I talked to all the trees. I call them my tree family now. But I went back in again and reiterated what I see going forward for my future. I see my future. I know where I want to be. This is my intent. So I made my intentions very, very clear. And it was another beautiful session. Get back home. And, well, hang on. I did watch a video when I got back home. There's something very, very important before we get to that point. The video that I watched when I got back home talked about what I had done. And I've said many, many times on this channel, I do something and then I find out what it is right afterwards. I mean, within minutes. But, so I am finished with my session. I walk back to my car. I'm parked. Normally I time it to where I'm almost at my car immediately when I'm finished, because it usually takes me about 40 minutes to do a decent prayer session, and that's 3 to 4 walks around the rotunda. And so I get into the car, start my car up, and I look at my console, and when the clock pops up, it's 11:11. So it's 11:11 p.m. I was like, oh my God, I remember that was just in a reading, 11:11. I forgot what it meant. So I had my phone in my hand. I was like, spiritual 11:11, click. I look at it. This is seconds when I saw 11:11 on my car's clock. I'm looking at my phone and my phone says 11:14. I look at the car clock, it says 11:14, and I like froze. I was like, oh my God, that is divine intervention right there. Divine intervention was that my clock is the first thing I would see when it comes on when I start my car. It said 11:11. There was my synchronicity, 11:11. When I pull my phone up, type in 11:11, search, pops up, and I notice, oh, it's 11:14. I didn't black out for 3 minutes. It was literally seconds. And I look, and the car was 11:14. So it was the exact same time, but divine intervention showed me 11:11. So guess what? 11:11, here we come. So what I just typed in, spiritual significance, 11:11. That's all. That's all I got in. Seeing 11:11 is widely interpreted in spiritual and New Age circles as a powerful sign of synchronization, spiritual awakening, and alignment with the universe. I had just spent that evening talking to the universe, stating my intentions about what I wanted moving forward. Couldn't get any better than this. It acts as a nudge to pay attention, suggesting your thoughts and manifesting into that your thoughts are manifesting into reality, and then you're receiving divine guidance or validation that you are on the right path. Hello, amen to that, sister. That is exactly what happened, but it gets even better than that. For the key spiritual significance, manifestation and alignment, it is considered an energetic portal where your thoughts align with the universe. It is a reminder of focus to focus on your desires rather than fears. Okay, so the days leading up to this, it was fears. Those had to be pulled away in layers and given back to the universe with light and love. And remember, my light always follows it and transmutes that. And what I love about that is that your intentions are manifesting quickly. That's another sign of synchronization. Here is another version of it. Spiritual awakening and wake-up call. Many interpret this sequence as a call to awaken to your higher purpose and enter a new phase of consciousness. Yes, I believe that they're trying to encourage me to step more into my power. And so that's why I always state in my prayer sessions that it's my angel posse that helps me standing in my light, speaking my truth, and what I always go like this, being on my highest and my best path forward. Synchronicity and confirmation. Frequently seeing 1111 suggests that events in your life are not coincidence, but are guided by the universe, affirming you are aligned with your spiritual path. That's what I think happened in real time. That was amazing. Angel number and guidance. In many belief systems, 1111 is a sign that angels or spirit guides are near, offering support and encouragement. Yes, we don't know what entity changed, slowed down, or turned back time. Oh, like the Cher song, If I Could Turn Back Time. I'm a huge Cher fan. Turn back time on my clock. That's what I love about that. So in numerology, 11 is a master number associated with intuition, insight, and spiritual insight. Doubling 1111 increases its energy, representing a gateway to higher or high awareness. How people respond to an 1111, making a wish. Due to its association with manifesting, many people make a wish or set an intention of what they see. I had done that prior. I set my intentions very, very clearly. Mindful pause. The numbers serve as a reminder to pause, breathe, and connect with the present moment. That's what I was doing all day. Assessing thoughts. It is used as a cue to stop, check one's thoughts, and ensure they are positive, as 1111 signifies a rapid manifestation period. When often interpreted as a sign of divine communication or a nudge, it is important to note that there is no inherent spiritual or scientific basis for this belief, and its interpreted varies between different belief systems. Well, I'm spiritual, and I believe that this is divinely guided. Because I don't share always this with you guys a lot of times, but I constantly see numbers repeating themselves at work as a flight attendant. Like there was one day in particular, I kept seeing 13 over and over on a 3-day trip. It was gate 13. It was a flight number that had 13 in it. It was the pickup point door that had a 13 in it. For 3 days in a row, I kept seeing 13 and 13 and 13. And then I had a reading when I came back, and it was about the number 13 and the synchronization of trying to pay attention to the signs that are put in front of you. So when I got back and I listened to another one of the messages, it was all about you need to state your intentions clearly, putting yourself going forward. This is what you see. This is your intent. So it pulls out any, and you pull out any negativity that's holding you back. So I'm happy that I had my rough patch so that I could force myself to peel back other layers of that onion, deal with it, allow my light to alchemize that energy again. And remember, I always say in that, when I'm doing that, that new light energy goes, as in diamond dust, becomes diamond dust, and goes down to a pouch, a leather pouch that I think I gave to Archangel Michael, because it's specifically for the diamond dust that I create from my light, from negativity, and turn it, when I alchemize it, it goes to him for him to use to people that pray on his behalf. Because I feel a brotherly connection to Archangel Michael. I know he is my brother, and I know he's my biggest advocate and one of my most ardent protectors. I know he will let me come to no harm. Now, there's one thing I did wanted to say, just it was a little interesting. So I was on the road and I'm driving out of state. And when I'm driving, a lot of times I am in thought or prayer or singing or whatever. And I kind of like don't remember paying attention to the road always. Sometimes I'll like wake up, I'd be like, what? And I'm still driving. I'm driving in my lane and I'm fine. But it's like I zone out for a second spiritually. And I had a moment like that where I was driving along and all of a sudden, and it's broad daylight, I started looking around. I was like, oh my God, this area is beautiful. It looks like mountains. There's beautiful water here. There's big lakes. I was like, where is this? Where could this place be? It's just gorgeous. I mean, it really resonated with me. The next exit sign said Longview, Texas. I was passing through Longview, Texas again, and I woke up at that instant to see a spot that looked not like Texas. Texas is pretty much, kind of flat. And this does not look like Texas. It's hilly and there's beautiful water. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's not a coincidence. That is not a coincidence. Because I believe this is where my kingdom spouse lives, is in Longview, Texas. So stay tuned for that saga. So I hope this video resonates with you. I hope that it gives you a little more clarity, that even when you're in the midst of fighting, and there, some people, when I tell them fighting with my guides, they know who we are. They know everything about us. They know our personalities. And for us to be true to ourselves, yes, we can argue back. Are we going to be right? Maybe not. Maybe it gives them the nudge they need to do, or just to remind us, hey, we are working on your behalf. There is a timeline going on. You just don't see it because we're keeping you quiet at the moment because you're undergoing changes. So I did add into my prayer, the very last one, about I really do appreciate this new gift of feeling the energy of the tree, my tree family. Because I even actually today went out and I asked for it to clean my aura and my energy. So I was out again in the daylight, and I just went up to the same trees and gave them a hug and said, if you would please cleanse me. And just a few brief minutes, I was bowed in prayer. I opened my eyes and I said, thank you for that. And I released the connection. And it was just, I just walked on from there and just have what I call my glow back. That's what I call it. Because there's a positivity in me that I've always had. Some people have tried to push it down, but I don't allow that to happen anymore. Those people get pulled out of my life like weeds, out of my garden. Those people get pulled out, no matter what their role or relationship was. Because if you're not going to honor me and believe what I'm saying, especially when I'm talking to someone who knows me, because sometimes I come across as, oh my God, you've changed so much. Yeah, I have. I woke up And now I see there's a bigger picture out there. And the interesting thing is that there was a reading today with Molly, and you guys have heard me talk about Molly several times. She said something very, very interesting. Now, from the first day when I woke up, one of the first messages I ever got was the fact that I was going to have a kingdom spouse, a past life soul connection, where in our last time together, I was this person's protector. We were not married, but I was their provider, protector. And we made a pact in that life that we would find each other again when we were both on the earth plane at the same time. Now, I can tell you by the fact if I was someone's provider, protector, it's not a recent timeline. It has to be something maybe ages ago. But we are both on the same plane this time, because I feel like that is my kingdom spouse. That's the one who's coming forward. And in Molly's reading, she was talking extensively about a past life connection that was never fulfilled. And I felt like she was talking exactly about my situation. She said, you weren't in a relationship. No, this was not a relationship, but I was the protector. And that when we agreed to come together, it was really the other person's soul being that prompted, because of how I took care of them, that they wanted to do the same for me. So in this connection, this person's coming forward with an offer for me. And it's almost as if the connection was not allowed to take place for whatever reason it was, whatever the time frame it was, who knows? Who knows what level of dimension it was on? Have no clue about that. I don't have any past life memories. But it just wasn't, it just didn't happen. But this time it's moving forward. So I feel very renewed in the fact that I believe my kingdom spouse past life connection is in fact this person from Longview, that they have been awakened to the fact that we are both on the same plane at the same time. Now, as Molly kind of pointed it out, she said, you would know each other immediately. Now, I knew when I saw him, and I think he saw it too, because he had a smile on his face, and he looked at me kind of funny, and he started coming closer to where I was in my Jeep. And then when he saw I was okay, he made like a little joke about, you know, he also makes a bed in his truck when he goes on the road. And he saw I was okay, and as he turned to walk, he just looked. And I knew in that instant, I was like, he knows. He knows, he has started. Something happened. This was a look like something's up, like radar. Something's up. Something has just happened. Something significant has just happened. And so when I read his energy, the one thing I said immediately, he has a pure heart. And he gives from the goodness of his heart without reservation and without expecting anything in return, because that's how he is. When Molly spoke about this, is the one thing she said, he has a pure heart. And I literally was like, confirmation, that's him. I don't know his name, but I know that's going to be him. So there's something for us to work on there to see how that happens out. So I hope this helps. And as always, if you guys have any questions, leave me a comment. Other than that, I'm wishing you guys nothing but light and love. And thanks for hanging out with me today. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.